Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements. Welcome to another episode where today we're going to be analysing the Nasdaq100 futures chart. The big day is finally here, and that is that we hear from Jerome Powell and the rest of the Fed during today's FOMC meeting, where the markets are anticipating for a 0.25 basis point hike. But more importantly, and I feel like the market is quite divided on this matter, and that is the policy going forward. Are we going to hear a hint from the Fed that there could be a potential Fed pivot? Or are we going to hear that the Fed is going to continue to be data dependent? That's the big question, the big elephant in the room. And it's going to be very interesting to see what Jerome Powell does have to say later on during that FOMC press conference. But, with regards to Nasdaq100, we've had a very steep run up here in the past couple of weeks. Nasdaq is currently trading at 12,700. And the big problem is that we have a massive area of resistance here, which is that 0.382 fib area. If we can break above that, then I think we go up towards the August highs, all the way up at 13,700. But I feel like this area here is going to pose a slight problem. So it'll be very interesting to see what does happen in the coming days and weeks ahead. I currently do not hold a position in the Nasdaq100 or the Dow Jones 30, and I just closed a profitable trade in my signal team for the S&P 500 earlier on this morning, where we net profit 2.45%, so up 27.75% for the year so far. So I don't really want to risk much of those gains going into the FOMC meeting, where it's quite uncertain what the outcome may be, especially for the performance of the broader stock market. So I actually prefer to just sit on the sidelines going into today's FOMC meeting. I want to hear what Jerome Powell has to say, how he answers the questions, and just kind of get an understanding of his tone. I want to kind of digest everything that I hear later on during today's trading session, and then try and determine whether this market can potentially trade up higher, up towards the August highs, or whether we may have to go and revisit the lows here. One thing for sure is that the Nasdaq100 contains a very large portion of growth stocks, and growth stocks typically thrive when we're in a decreasing interest rate environment, or a low interest rate environment. And if we get a message from the Fed that their job is nowhere near to be done, because a great example of this is that earlier on this morning, for example, we heard from the UK that inflation has just broken a 3-month downtrend, and it coming at 10.4% versus 9.9% expected. So if we heard from Jerome Powell, for example, that their job is not done, we could see a large portion of these growth stocks sell off going into the close later on today, and that could potentially offer a fantastic buying opportunity in 1 or 2 weeks' time. But that's definitely why I want to kind of sit on the sidelines here going forward. If you do want to be part of my signal team and copy my trade as soon as I decide to open one and post it on my signal team, then please do not hesitate to scan this QR code on your screen. I charge a very small joining fee of $29.